Alright folks, the fundamental movements of Jiu Jitsu. People bang on about these. I've done my best to distill them down into the ones you actually need. When I say basic movements, I mean things like hipping in or out or shrimping or whatever you want to call it. Let's get into it. So the first basic movement a lot of people learn is hipping in and hipping out. When you're hipping out, a lot of people usually do it with both feet on the floor and you're relatively dead, hips are low. So we want to avoid that. So ideally, you want to, apart from pushing your backside out the way rather than just traveling up that way, you also want a slight elevation. So one application of this, Hellbelly's got me in side control. So that's I managed to start getting my feet behind me. I'm going to hip out. I can bridge to make space. I'm going to hip away and get my hips away from him. If I just push up this way, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't make distance between his hips and mine. I need distance. So from here, feet behind me, feet coiled, hip out, and then I can go into any of my side control escapes. The converse motion, hipping in. I've hipped out and I hip back in. This sort of back heeling motion is really important in a lot of different techniques, even from arm bars to your triangles to leg locks. But one context that you'll use it quite a lot in might be the cruelty half guard sweep, which is in the half guard series. So from here, I've managed to get the underhook and I've captured his leg here. Instead of just trying to roll Hellbelly over with my non-existent strength, what I can do is capture the leg, and I can either capture here or capture here, and then I want to bring my hips in and underneath Hellbelly. This hip in motion really helps shovel or basically bring my hips right underneath his, makes him very light, and it's just the gentlest of movements. And that's one scenario where I'd use the hip in motion. Other motions that we do on the floor do include bridging and coming to turtle. So this movement here, where I'm bridging and kicking through and coming to turtle. One particular scenario might be, if again I'm stuck in side control, I'm trying to bridge, perhaps trying to get an underhook, but I'm still a little bit stuck here. I can bridge, kick my foot behind me, and if I feel like I can come up to dogfight, excellent. Or if I feel he's really starting to turn in towards me, I can take a hold of the leg. Because I've got my feet based, I'm now able to be quite mobile. I can run round, catch, shelf, and come on top. Another motion that's really important that starts again from the floor is the technical stand-up. So again, I am making sure I've got a relatively solid base. In this case, right hand planted, left foot planted, always opposite. I should be able to lift my weight and I'll come to my knee. Traditionally, I was taught this, hand, foot planted, and have my chest facing the floor. However, with the advent of wrestling finally making its way to Jiu Jitsu, that's probably a bad idea. So a better idea, plant, come to your knee, because now from here, you have defensive tools to stop them coming in, ankle picking, maybe snatching us up, and also you can shoot. So a situation, for example, Hellbelly might be, perhaps I'm playing De La Hiva, and I'm trying to kick off a little bit. If I'm able to come up to my feet relatively quickly, then I can counter attack. Or another case might be, perhaps I'm putting weight on here, being able to come to my knee quickly, one hand and one foot were planted. I can chase and come up my leg. Another example that you should really know is if I'm stuck in the bottom, turtled, and my partner's kind of on top putting pressure on, I need to be able to sit out. So it might be a bit difficult here, but it's not impossible. I will have to move quite fast. I'll pick one side for my head to poke out. I will try and trap an arm on one side. So, for example, if I know it's okay, I can get my head on this side and want to catch. I don't want to catch too tight, and this puts my arm in danger. But if I can catch a little bit lower down, catch your wrist maybe, step. As I sit out, I bridge, and I'm bridging all my weight into my partner here. I've caught this leg here, because if I don't catch, he'll run all the way around and take my back. But, set it again. So I don't reach super high, just enough. Catch here, if I can. Head pokes out. On. I've got my hand on the inside, just catch his leg. Sit out. Another technique you should really learn is the Granby roll. So by itself, this is basically just an inversion. All I'm looking to do, I'll do it in 2 different profiles so you can see, is I'm looking to hunch over because I'm essentially looking to take the weight of the roll on my shoulders, not my head and neck. Just to make it easy, I'll kind of, whichever side I'm rolling to, I'll drop directly to that shoulder and I'll put the arm behind my back, I'll stay folded, and I'll roll through. Some people like to kind of link their hands behind their back. You can do that if you really want. Just to show you it from this angle here. This is the basic sort of Granby roll. And application here might be, if I'm standing up, perhaps my partner's got me around to my back, and perhaps I'm worried about getting suplexed, that is, lifted into the air quite, well, high velocity. I might put my hands down, and just to avoid him taking my back, I'll choose to roll over this shoulder. So when I roll and I come back to face my partner. Or perhaps I'm turtled, I'm here, I'm defensive, and I'm trying to get out here. I always want to drop and roll on the shoulder. It's the same side as where their weight is. Rolling this way might be difficult and puts me in more danger. Here like this, I've got a better chance. So as I roll in this way, it gives me a chance to replace my guard and get back to safety. Another important skill that everyone should know is being able to break fall. If you do not know how to break fall and you're not comfortable with it, not only are you more likely to break something if you ever do any stand-up or if you compete, but also if you ever slip in ice or in mud, then there's a higher chance of you, fucking yourself up. So the sideways break fall is pretty simple. You can start off with your knees quite bent, make it safe. I'm looking to throw my right leg out to one side, and as I land, the side of my body, my entire arm and my hand all connects with the mat at the same time. This helps kind of spread the force a little bit, so you're less likely to focus it on one point. I've seen people post heel at this, and if you're watching any recent UFC matches or anything like that, you might have seen elbows pop the wrong way. Even heel at this, there's a risk of dislocating your shoulder. You've got a better chance of not ending up in the hospital if you do it properly. So roll of it as well, instead of simply going and winding yourself. You also have the backwards break fall, which is really important if someone manages to hit you with a really good double leg. So from here, again, my back's rounded throughout. I'm tucking my chin to my chest. If you're super not confident about this, just start from here. Tuck your chin, keep it glued to your chest, and as you roll back, smack the floor with your straightened arms basically, and everything hits at the same time. You get more confident, come to here, tuck the chin, land on your arse first if you can, rather than your head, and then you can add a bit more balance. So for example, if Hillbilly catches me one of his sweet blast doubles, I break fall, I'm less likely to break myself. Or if he picks me up, perhaps he's managed to get round to one side, he's cinched at the waist, he's looking to do an elevated takedown. Thank you for being a gentleman. I'm able to spread the force a little bit and not cripple myself, which is really important. The last few motions you should really learn how to do are forwards and backwards rolls. So the backwards rolls are a little bit more niche, but still a good movement to do. When I say niche, it's because there's not as many applications as the forward roll. Essentially, I roll over one shoulder. When people roll over at first, they think they have to go over their neck. That's a bad idea. Watch from this angle. I'm essentially flinging my legs over one shoulder. As I do that, I can use my hands for base, and instead of bringing my head to the same side as the legs go one way, head goes the other way. A little bit faster this time. That's your backwards roll. Your forwards roll, you can start really slowly or really low from here. So you can even just put your hand in between your legs, look at the wall behind you, and from there, as you look, you'll be looking to push off your legs a little bit, just to get the momentum going, because you're starting from the floor, and roll over your shoulder blade. Do not drive your shoulder directly into the mat. I've done this before and broken my collarbone. Don't copy me. When you get a bit more confident, you can look to start from a sort of lower stance. And then eventually, you can take a run into it, and even add a break fall if you want. Applications for these, it's mostly going to be the forwards rolling which is useful, because if hillbilly goes to hip throw me, the forward roll combined with a sort of break fall motion. So hillbilly gets a nice little hip throw here. Knowing to tuck my head and roll over my shoulder means I'm less likely to land on my head and cripple myself. And the backwards roll, that is applicable, for example, if you're going for, say, a sweep to mount from the butterfly guard. So that's you, if you attack here, you've locked this in, you're able to elevate your partner, get your hips underneath. And from here, you can choose to finish the guillotine from the mount, maybe take the thrust grip. I'm going to be nice to hillbilly. These are fundamental movements. Do them, and you won't regret it. Go train.